A foremost pro-democracy think tank, the Center for Democracy and Development (CDD) has rated the conduct and outcome of the September 19, 2020 governorship election in Edo State as relatively credible, despite the challenges and infractions which dogged the process. The center noted that the election was relatively peaceful when compared to other polls recently conducted by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). In the further observation report signed by CDD Director Idiat Hassan and Head Election Analysis Center Professor Adele Jinedu, the group further described generally peaceful conduct was a refreshing development, but this was not devoid of anomalies in the process, which, if left unaddressed, could turn the current euphoria into a mirage that would evaporate, a reversal to the status quo of the country's experience of seriously flawed electoral outcomes.
If you look at the Edo elections, in the 2003 elections, they had a 78% voter turnout. Now, results for 2003, 2007 are not prided as being extremely credible. 2007 report is of course missing, but in 2012 there was a 40.5, which represents 41% voter turnout. 2016, 32% voter turnout, and by 2020 there is a gross decline to 25.2% turnout by our calculation. 25% turnout. So then we start asking ourselves, why is this really happening? And it is happening because of the environment the political class themselves have actually engendered. The fear of violence, the failure of democracy to actually deliver development. They believe in the art of people that, of course, their vote will not count, which, of course, the introduction of the e-portal, somehow, the result viewing portal have added some credibility to the process. These are very important issues that we have to take forward. Having around 500,000 people, 500 plus, determine the outcome of an election, even when the votes are divided in between, are not good enough. But it also boils on the political class to actually do the right thing.
The build up to the election was extremely disturbing because it was characterized by a number of very negative behavior related to the campaign. There was quite a bit of violence and thuggery leading up to the election. The social media was used in a very reckless way to present dangerous statements that could have led to a breakdown of peace and order. Leading parties gave directives to their operatives to deliver, as they were saying, 100% of the votes in their polling units. All these created a very toxic atmosphere leading to the elections, and people, it was widely assumed, will be too afraid to come out to vote.
The issue of penalty for the election violence, we are so happy that in this last election, just a statement coming from the United Kingdom, European Union, American government had put some sense in some people who probably ordinarily they will want to trust their violence capacity. So it is important that if we are going to have any electoral reform, we deal with issues of people who have perpetually continued to perpetuate electoral violence without being punished. Also, in our recommendation, we also want to recommend that the use of technology must be sustained. If you really want to eliminate election malpractices in this country, you must enhance the technology, use of technology. In other parts of the world, technology is used for election matters. But here, people are just not willing to get that done. Then, of course, the composition of the election oversight body I think it is important. We have made several of these recommendations in the past, and it is also still in the waste, report, that there must be, political party establishment of political party, registration, regulation, body. That's because the way it is now, ANEC is saddled with so many work and they are overwhelmed, and therefore we believe that creating this agency or body will lessen the task of INEC to focus on actually conducting election.
We just want to draw attention to some of those snares, some of those worrying signals that we should be aware of as we move ahead. And that some of the things we need to do, therefore, is to see to what extent electoral reform can be compacted, can be undertaken to deal with the threats that those, what we call those undercurrents of our political economy, of our history of electoral degeneration in this country. The first one, which was clearly displayed during the elections, and which in fact caused the worry that people felt about the election, is the continuing lack of internal democracy, particularly in the selection of candidates for high political offices in the country. So I think we need to find ways of moderating this, to finding how can we in fact ensure that the atmosphere that surrounds the conduct of party primaries are conducted in ways that also conform to the wider concern with the integrity of the electoral process in the country. Political parties cannot benefit from efforts to sanitize the national electoral political process.